Hello and welcome to Mysteries to Die For. I am Jack Wolff, and I'm joined here today with Jack, my piano player and producer. Geez, this is a great start, Jack. This is normally a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you at the heart of a mystery. But today is a bonus episode we call a toe tag. It is the first chapter from a fresh new release in the mystery, crime, and thriller genre. Now, today's story is extra special because it's TG Wolff's very own Murder on Sight, her new book release featuring the Rizk brothers. So I am here today to read that to you so that she's not reading her own book. And so let's get started off right into Chapter 1. Seth. Wednesday, after landing. In a cloudless sky, the burning sun shined down on the streets of downtown Indianapolis. Heat waves visibly bounced off the sidewalks, slowly frying the unsuspecting city dwellers. But having spent most of the last 10 years in a foreign desert or Cabano coffee-fueled South Florida, Seth Rizk was comfortable with the heat, humidity, and even the UV rays. He walked from the garage where he left the rental car, and though he wasn't alone walking the city at 2 in the afternoon, it appeared he was the only one enjoying it. Men and women in suits hustled across the sidewalks as if racing towards a finish line, and the women did it in heels. "Afternoon," Seth said to the male and female approaching him in blue suits so coordinated Seth was embarrassed for them. No response. The pair didn't see him. He interviewed people like them before, so engrossed in what was in their heads they couldn't see the world around them. The sidewalks also held their share of people moving with less vim and practically no vigor. Some twitched, others shuffled. Souls who lived through too much now melted into the anonymity of the city, watching for attack, waiting for opportunity. Seth had interviewed plenty of people like this before too. The results were mixed. As a group, they often provided good information. They were observant, a necessity for survival. But physical and mental illness twisted reality and fantasy until they were one muddled mess. Then there was the distrust of cops. "Afternoon," he said again. The man looked to be somewhere between 50 and 100 years old. His clothes didn't fit well, but his tennis shoes were white as snow. "Good afternoon," he answered, congenially, as they approached each other. "I like your shoes." Seth glanced down to the canvas slip-ons he lived in when he wasn't working. "I like yours too." The older man grinned with pride. "Thank you. Have a blessed day." "Appreciate it," Seth said, meaning it. He pushed the revolving door and entered the long building known as Indiana Government Center South. Summer didn't touch the inside of the foyer. Between the tinted glass and the ultra-cooled air conditioning, he put the interior climate somewhere between October and December. "Welcome back, Mr. Rizk." The greeting came from a rail-thin man wearing a security uniform with Raymond on the patch. He stood in the arch of a metal detector, thumbs hooked on his belt. "You didn't lose your backpack, did you?" Seth shrugged and went with it. "I changed for an event and realized I left something in my office." Raymond stepped back, out of the metal detector, looking Seth up and down. "Those suits of yours are nice, but I gotta say, this has style," which made Seth grin. Nothing beat the South Florida dress code. Style can make up for a lot of shortcomings. He tossed his rental keys, wallet, and phone into the plastic bowl and walked confidently through the screening device. "Oh, I know that." Raymond stepped behind the table, running a hand alongside his trimmed hair. "I'm almost ashamed at how much I spend." Almost. "I'm ashamed at how much other people don't spend." Seth swiped his belongings, keeping Raymond's attention focused on him and away from the items in the bowl. "Stay cool," he said, before finally turning away. Eyes scanning the multitude of signs, he finally found the one he wanted. Elevator. He'd done his homework. He knew which floor housed the Attorney General's office. Seth stepped up on the elevator, his gaze sweeping for features in place for security and the human element that often neutralized them. To the left, twin glass doors were fixed open, funneling traffic to a chest-high wooden circular desk with a receptionist. To the right were matching glass doors, with one propped open by a sealed shipping box. He lifted his face to the security camera, shook his head, and then turned left, walking ahead like he owned the place. "Hello, Mr. Rizk." The young woman sitting at the elevated desk wore a headset strategically placed amid her messy knot of hair. A tattooed vine with artistically curling leaves crept from her white collar and disappeared behind her ear. "You changed your clothes." "Obviously," Seth said, emulating the bossy tone his brother often used. "And that's not the only thing that's going to change around here, Ivy." Between the nameplate on her desk and pretty neck tattoo, hers was one name Seth wouldn't have trouble remembering. Ivy stared at him, her mouth falling open. Her gaze shifted behind him to the middle-aged black woman with air of a sophistication around her that would take on a board of pompous men with a single eyebrow raised. Single eyebrow raise. Geez, Jack, learn English. Ivy, when you finish helping this gentleman, come back to my desk. The woman walked unimpeded through the gaping opening to the employee side. She startled when she saw his face. Jacob, you're back. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Having no idea what she was talking about, he opted for the truth. It's always a good thing. Jacob, Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. Jakob Rizk didn't notice the concrete sidewalks of downtown Indy. He didn't see the people. His body was on automatic pilot. His mind back in the office of the Marion County prosecutor. They'd worked a few cases together back when he, Jacob, was a senior attorney in the criminal department, which was last week. Then, Jacob had stepped into the role of interim attorney general after Harrison Stanley died unexpectedly. The death and appointment were as much a surprise to him as the rest of the state. From assistant county prosecutor to the state's top attorney in 3 years, the change left no time to plan, to think, to grieve. Noon Monday, the governor publicly announced the interim appointment. An hour later, Jacob sat behind the shiny desk in the office with Harry's name on the door, scouring through emails and hand-annotated notes to pick up where Harry had left off on Friday. A shoulder bounced off his arm. My apologies, he said automatically. Lifting his head, he saw a swarm of young teens in identical blue t-shirts. He bobbed and weaved, feeling like he was swimming upstream. The metaphor applied to more than just the sidewalk. He reached an intersection, pressed the walk button, and waited. 3 hours ago, his mobile rang. Glad to see a familiar name come up, Jacob had answered without hesitating. But he wasn't calling as a friend. He was calling as a country prosecutor. He had a problem and needed Jacob's advice. Could he come over to talk? So Jacob went. Walk, walk, walk. Jacob obeyed, staying between the white lines out of habit rather than intent. The problem was a dead woman named Lucy Torek. Her body had been found in her truck, parked under the interstate bridge where she worked as a construction inspector. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department had a suspect, but evidence was so thin the odds of securing a conviction was single digits. On the surface, the case was murder, but beneath the waters lurked a political bear trap. Should he hold out for more evidence or move forward to appease the well-connected family? And that was where his friend needed advice. What would Harry do if he'd gotten the call? I like your shoes, a rough, worn voice pulled Jacob from his thoughts. He glanced at the Italian leather on his feet. Thank you, he said to the man sitting against the nearest building. Likely homeless, the clothes were oversized for the man and too heavy for the hot June weather. But his shoes, those are pristine. A point of pride. I like yours. It's a challenge to keep white clean. It is, but it's worth it, the man said. Yes, sirree, I like those shoes, but truth, I liked your other ones better. Jacob's mind raced to decode the comment. Had the man seen him before and noticed his shoes? He had a collection that would be embarrassing if anyone but his wife saw it. More likely, the man suffered from a mental illness, addiction, delusional disorder. What else could make a man imagine shoes? Didn't matter. He needed to get back to Harry's office. I like those too, he said, playing along, but you have to mix it up sometimes. Have a good one. Jacob hurried along to discourage conversation. One more street, and he entered the building through the revolving door. Crisp, cool air greeted his face and hands. He was tempted to pull off his suit jacket, but knowing he'd been sweating, he left it in place. You're back again, Anthony Raymond called out. The security guard was one of Jacob's favorite people, always having a smile to share. What a surprise. That's me, Jacob said dryly as he put his phone in the bowl, backpack on the table. Just full of surprises. He walked through the metal detector, then waited on the other side for Anthony to clear his bag. I guess your plans fell through? You mean my meeting? No, I had it. I didn't take long. Anthony's face betrayed his bewilderment. Meetings do occasionally end very early, Jacob chuckled. It's rare, but every once in a while we get a few minutes back in our day. No, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sure they do. Anthony pushed the backpack towards Jacob, but didn't let go. I just have to ask, why did you change clothes again? Did Anthony get him mixed up with someone else? He felt a little hurt. He saw Anthony as they weren't friends, but acquaintances. Apparently, Anthony saw him as just another suit. The governor expects us to dress when we're in the building. We need to paint the right picture, you know. Have a good afternoon, Anthony. You too, Anthony called after him. Jacob headed to the elevator, grateful the doors opened nearly instantly. They closed and he was alone with his ego, dented after the reminder he wasn't special at all. He shared the short ride up with his reflection, a familiar stranger. Neither different nor the same. Who was he now? The doors opened and he put on a facade that included his confident smile. He walked through the glass entryway that had been the gateway to his work for the last 3 years. The receptionist, Ivy O'Neill, wasn't at her post, a rarity. He headed left to the office of the Attorney General. He nodded to a staffer who blinked without nodding back. Jacob was beginning to think that there was really something different about this upcoming generation of attorneys, and it wasn't their overwhelming social skills. The desk and area outside the AG's office was the territory of Executive Assistant Lisa Hastings, the most senior person in the office, who was also conspicuously missing. Where is everyone? Jacob had a moment of panic. Had he forgotten a meeting, an event? Voices came from behind the door to Harry's office. A dull thump. Something heavy hit the floor. What the hell was going on in there? Jacob sucked air in, then narrowed his eyes on the closed door. Someone was looting Harry's office. Confidential information was everywhere, valuable to both sides of the aisle, to corporations, to plaintiffs, and defendants. Not on his watch. Jacob shouldered the door, leaping inside. "Stop what you're doing!" The desk fell from 2 pairs of hands, the muted slap of wood against carpet. 4 faces turned to him. 3 wore slack-jawed expressions. The 4th grinned like a pirate looting treasure. "Seth?" Jacob stepped inside, blinking to see if his twin brother was really there or a figment of his overloaded mind. "You're in Miami." "Jacob!" Seth looked across the large corner office. "I almost like the digs." "Jacob?" Lisa Hastings took a step away from the man who looked strikingly like her boss. Her head was on a swivel. "Jacob, Seth. Jacob, Seth." Amusement washed over Jacob and brought a smile to his face for the first time in days. "I apologize, Lisa. I should have warned you that if I showed up shouting ridiculous orders, that you were to call an ambulance and have them bring restraints." Seth chortled. "You're twins," she said, now shaking her head. "Identical." "I'm better looking," Seth said, as Jacob said, "I'm smarter." Jacob scowled as he covered the distance to his brother in 3 strides. "You showed up, unannounced, and you rearranged my office?" Seth's smile grew until it reached both ears. "You nailed it in 1, counselor. God, I miss you and your stupid head." Jacob grabbed his twin, pulling him in for a hard hug. "Well, don't think I missed your ugly face," Seth said, but hugged him just as hard. Ivy picked up the law book from the floor. "We can put it all back," she said, looking to the law clerk who had always seemed to be lending the young woman a helping hand. "Absolutely. Just take a minute." Jacob lifted one end of the desk. "Leave it where it is," Seth ordered. Jacob gave his brother the look that had gotten him accused of witness intimidation. "This is my office. I say where Harry's desk goes. Put it where it is." Seth dragged him until they were face to face. "Haven't you learned anything about security? Your desk does not go in front of the door. It gives a shooter a direct line of sight." "Oh my God." Ivy dropped the book in her hands. The dull thud was louder on the side of the door. Jacob held out his palms as if to calm a frightened child. "It's okay. Leave it for now. We'll decide where to put Harry's desk later." "We all have work to do," Lisa herded Ivy and the clerk out of the office. "And you two, behave." She closed the door behind her. Seth pulled his arm back and dropped onto the long leather couch, now positioned to face the door. "I bet nothing gets past her." "That's it?" Jacob threw up his hands. "Are you just going to pretend like you didn't appear out of thin air? What are you doing here, Seth?" "I came to see you. It's not every day I become related to the Attorney General of a whole state. These are moments to be savored." He stretched, inhaling deeply. "Feels good. I like it. How about you?" Jacob gave his brother his perfect "don't mess with me" stare. Seth gave up the pretense with an eye roll. "Put away your weapon. I give up, counselor. I'm here for Harry's funeral." "Thank you, Seth, but we talked about this," he said, walking to his desk. "I told you not to come." Seth snorted. "Since when has that worked? I'm here and you're stuck with me until I book a return flight. Now, how's it feel to be the Attorney General for Indiana?" "I'm the interim AG, and it's fine." Jacob slipped his hip into the corner of the desk. "When did you get in? How was your flight?" The conversation drifted into the usual commentary of air travel and Indianapolis traffic. When it came to accommodations, there was no discussion. "You're staying with us. We have plenty of room. Let me call Courtney and tell her you're here." "I have a better idea." Seth's grin became mischievous. "We'll trade clothes." "It's not gonna work. We've been trying to pull off a switch since Courtney and I dated at Indiana University. We're 0 for like 20. She won't fall for it. She never does." She doesn't know I'm here, Seth argued. I'm darker, but as long as your olive ass isn't next to me, she won't notice the difference. Jakob shook his head. She's smarter than both of us. I'm not denying it, but she can't always win. He studied his twin head to toe. Why did you cut your hair so short? I hate our short hair. We look like a lawyer. I am a lawyer. Why is yours so long? We look derelict. You work in Vice or something? Something. Seth ran a hand through his thick, wavy black hair their father passed on to them. Their build and features came from their father's Mediterranean ancestry, with one notable exception: their eyes. They both had their mother's Scottish misty gray eyes. Seth hadn't answered the question, but Jakob let it go. For now. I'll bet you $1. Courtney knows it's you in under a minute. A minute? Done. His cell phone rang. His friend, the prosecutor, was calling back. Good news didn't happen that quickly in Jacob's experience. He looked to his brother. Seth popped to his feet. Come find me when you're done. I'll be wherever Lisa says you're buying me lunch. Seth, Wednesday, 3-ish. Seth sat at a bar and nursed a local draft as he read the text that came in while he'd been in the airplane. We had a call scheduled. You missed it. FYI, Bridget's had surgery this morning. I boxed up your stuff. Swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. He closed the app and surveyed the room again. Nearly empty as the little hand crept towards 3, he shared the bar with one other guy. They caught each other's eye and nodded. Cop recognized cop? The other guy picked up his beer and brought it around the Seth's corner of the world. He introduced himself as a sergeant with the Indy PD. Miami PD. Seth. He lifted his glass in a toast. The Sarge returned the toast. I love my city, but if I lived in Miami, I would not vacation in Indianapolis. Visiting family, Seth said. My brother's got a big fancy promotion. I came up to mooch off him for a few days. The conversation flowed into shop talk. In big cities, problems didn't so much change as have different flavors. Weapons and tech, policies, politicians, making decisions that they weren't completely qualified to make. I'm wearing a suit that costs more than everything you own. Do you think I want to put my arms on a wet table? The disgruntled voice made both cops look over their shoulder. In the center of the picture window, the man was big and ruddy with thick blonde hair. With him was a suited woman with shoulder-length hair and 4-inch heels. Between them, the bartender hastily wiped the tabletop with cloth. With a grunt, the man claimed one of the window seats. Thank you, the woman said apologetically, taking the one opposite. The Sarge huffed. He's old enough to be her father. Seth shook his head. It's not romantic. He's her boss. Oh, I'm saying he's the boss, and not just in the office. The bartender began pouring a glass of white wine. The bottle wasn't stacked up with a dozen of her sisters on the house rack, but was from a separate refrigerator. He then pulled a dark amber from the top rack and splashed $100 into the rock's glass. Guess we all work with assholes, Sarge muttered. Seth snickered. The big difference is we occasionally get to shoot him. He texted his brother. Starving here, order appetizer. Great. He dropped the phone on the bar. Can I get an order of bacon cheese fries and another beer? Your brother can't get out of the office either, huh? My wife's just like that. I tell her the work will still be there in the morning. Seth shrugged. The promotion is new. He's trying to make a good impression. That prosecutor has the backbone of a slug and the ambition of a snail. The ruddy man's voice punched through the quiet bar. All he has to do is prosecute the son of a bitch. It's in the goddamn job title. What does he do instead? He calls Rizk. Can't you just do anything about it, Jessica? It's a county case, Senator. If it were in our office, then I'd have some pull, so take it. If the prosecutor isn't doing his job, it's your duty to take the case and see that Lucy's murder is served a long, painful lifetime of justice. Seth looked through his hair, over his shoulder. He saw just fine through the screen that obscured his face from the senator. The man was leaning into the table, pushing his agenda down the woman's throat. Physically, she held her own. Mentally, psychologically, and emotionally, she brought a spork to a gunfight. Someone you know? Sarge asked. The guy he's talking about, Rizk. They both looked forward now, eyes on the big screen of the wall in front of them. Ears, however, were with the man maneuvering the woman into an uncomfortable position. The woman, Jessica, sounded angry. It was my job, Senator. I have the experience and put in my time. I should have been named Interim Attorney General. Seth tucked his head, watching the pair again. The senator sat back and stared at his companion, almost like he was seeing her for the first time. help me get justice for Lucy, and I'll get you the permanent appointment. The governor can appoint an interim, but only the caucus can name the successor." He held out his hand. She tucked her hair behind her ear, leaned in, and then she shook his hand. "You know who they are?" Seth asked his drinking buddy. "He's Nolan Connor," Sarge said, "a state senator and first-class asshole, but I'm guessing you picked up on that part." "Cleaned up after him a time or two. I don't know the woman." Seth's phone pinged. "Leaving, be there in 5. He stood up, pulling his wallet from his pocket. No way he could let Jakob walk into this bar. If the woman and the senator saw him, it would give away the advantage he had, knowing the pair was conspiring without them knowing he knew. The bartender set a basket on the bar. "Your fries?" "Changing plans. Make them to go." Seth plucked 2 20s from his wallet and dropped them on the bar. "For mine, his, and the food." "Thanks." Sarge slid a card to Seth. "If you need a friend." "Appreciate it." Seth took the card and the styrofoam box of fries. Careful to keep his face hidden from the targets, he left the bar. Why his brother worked in public service escaped Seth. He could have had boats and cars and more of those square-ass suits if he'd gone private. Now it was even worse. Jakob was a politician. He swam in a sea of sharks, a tiny, oblivious minnow. Seth rounded the corners and met the eyes of a man sitting on a short wall wearing a joyous grin. "You back again?" He looked at Seth's feet. "Man, you sure do get around." "Ah, white sneakers guy. Me in trouble." Seth leaned against the wall, which gave him an unimpeded view of the walk to his brother's office. "You like bacon cheese fries?" Seth opened the to-go container. "Like? No. Love? Oh yeah." He reached in and selected one so loaded with cheese and bacon, it folded under the weight. "They're still hot." "Fresh," he said automatically, his attention on a suit a block away. Head down, hands stuffed into pockets. Yeah, it was Jakob's thinking posture. He ate another fry. "Needs ketchup." "Why you need ketchup when you got cheese and bacon?" His friend took 2 fries and used them like a scoop. "Crispy bacon, just the way God meant it to be." "You a cop?" "What?" Seth broke his 50-yard stare and turned to the man who was now leaning away like he was contagious. "Yeah, but not here. I'm just a brother." The man didn't just laugh, he cackled. "You may not be white, but you ain't no brother." "I am." He pointed to the familiar face coming towards them, head still down. He shouted, "Look up before you walk into a pole and make your face even uglier." Jakob's head snapped up, eyes narrowing. "Boat shoes and Italian leather." The words tumbled out on a wave of laughter. "2 of you. Damn, but you 2 had me thinking I should go back on the meds." His brother joined them, his serious gaze going between the 2 men. "Seth." "Jakob," Seth said, imitating his seriousness. "Oh, Seth." "Jakob," Seth said, imitating his seriousness. "Ezekiel," the shoe connoisseur offered. "Ain't we biblical? Want a fry?" With a sigh, Jakob sat on Ezekiel's left. He selected a naked fry from the side, then dragged it through the cheese. "Thought you were at the restaurant." "I was," Seth said. "Now I'm not." Silence. Jakob didn't fill it. "Power issues," Seth said, which wasn't a lie. It just wasn't the electrical kind of power. "I escaped, heroically saving Ezekiel's fries on my way out." Ezekiel took another from the stack and raised it in a toast. "To chivalry and action." "Anytime," Seth said, and then he went fishing. "Phone call took longer than you thought. Is there a problem?" Jakob took another fry, this time jabbing it into a pool of cooling cheese. "I'm the Attorney General for the state of Indiana. The title means I'm a personal helpline." At the news of Jakob's title, Ezekiel fumbled his fry. A pigeon seized the opportunity. Seth reached across like nothing happened and picked out a short stub of a fry. "Anyone in particular?" Jakob clasped his hands together tightly and looked sideways at Ezekiel. "Come on, Jakob. Ezekiel ain't gonna tell anybody your business, are you, Z?" He snorted, turning into a laugh. "Even if I did, who'd ever believe the goddamn Attorney General ate bacon cheese fries and sold me secrets?" "A dead woman named Lucy." Well, folks, there you have it. Chapter 1 of TG Wolff's brand new book, Murder on Sight. So let's go over a little bit about the book. Jakob Rizk has never expected to become, that's not English. Jakob Rizk never expected to become Indiana's acting attorney general. 2 weeks in, he's losing sleep, battling a ruthless rival, and under pressure to prosecute a young engineer for the murder of a hard-nosed inspector famous for rooting out corruption. That's English, there we go. But with scant evidence and clear signs of political interference, the case is a minefield. When his twin brother Seth, a Miami cop hiding secrets of his own, arrives unexpectedly, Jakob puts him to work. Together, the brothers must unravel a web of greed, not a web of agreed. a web of greed and deception to find justice for a good woman. Bottom line, Murder on Sight is for you if you like a fast-paced mystery with thoroughly enjoyable characters, engaging plot, and the right mix of seriousness and levity. Goodreads reviewer left that nice review. Guys, reading isn't my specialty. I don't know if you've noticed, I play piano in most of these. So I apologize for my bumbliness. There's going to be quite a few edits in this episode, so I apologize about that. Next, we're going to take a look at some of the Goodreads and BookBub reviewers and see what they had to say. So here we go. The twins take this from a good mystery to a fabulous book, and this one is a can't miss. Another review says, absolutely loved the interaction between the brothers, and I was brought in from the first page. Twins Jakob and Seth are our storytellers. Amazon, Goodreads, and BookBub reviewers said the dynamic between the twins is the real hook, humor, warmth, and a heart in a serious story. Another said, I loved their antics, their bond, and the way that they care for each other and make each other better. Another says, their chemistry adds depth and humor, making the story both entertaining and memorable. And when it came to the mystery, which you know is my mom's thing, BookBub reviewers said a political legal mystery full of danger, intrigue, and corruption, as well as clues and red herrings unfold methodically, leading to a satisfying conclusion. So I guess spoiler guys, there might be red herrings in this mystery. I hope you weren't ready for those. Murder on Sight was released from Thule Publishing. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thule? I'm going to pretend I am. And is promoted by Partners in Crime Tours and is available direct from Thule as well as Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Apple, and Kobo. Now let's get into about the author. So TG Wolff writes mysteries meant to be solved. And well, I should rephrase that. Mysteries meant to be solved, okay? You as the reader should be able to solve these halfway through. None of this Agatha Christie bullshit where you're just making it up halfway through and she says it's the guy in the corner who hasn't said more than 2 lines. No, these mysteries are meant to be solved. She specializes in puzzles and giving you everything you need to be the detective to the solution. Diverse characters mirroring the complexities of real life and real people, balanced with a healthy dose of entertainment. TG Wolff holds a master's degree in civil engineering, which gives her no background in writing, but was an excellent training ground for mystery solving. You can find her work at tgwolff.com, as well as mysteriestodiefor.com. We have a lot of stuff on there between the two of us as well. Wondering what to read after you finish Murder on Sight? Partners in Crime Tours is your ultimate destination for all things mystery, crime, thriller, and cozy. Since 2011, they've been working to fill bookshelves with gripping and heart-pounding reads, discover new mystery series and connections with other fans with Partners in Crime. Look up Partners in Crime Tours on the web for your favorite social media, partnersincrimebt.com. The BT stands for book tours, so partnersincrimebt.com. And authors, whether you're looking to promote your latest thriller, discover a new mystery series, or connect with fellow fans of the genre, PICT, Partners in Crime Book Thrillers, has you covered. Check out their promotion options that come with the personal attention of a dedicated coordinator, and I promise they're much better at speaking than I am. Join us next week for Season 9, Stuff That Can Kill You. Electricity is our sticky means of murder in Charbroiled by Jim Winters. Thank you guys so much for putting up with my bumbliness. I hope that you liked this episode, and I encourage you heavily to go check out TG Wolff's new book. I will see you next week. Take us out, Jackaboy.